This is cool. It's by Data Rush. Subscribe to him. These are prices by kilogram. Look at that. Iridium fluorite. Wow. Platinum per kilogram. Rhodium. Go. Hematite, topaz, epidolite, quartz. Wow, that's interesting. Zircon, corundum, tanzanite. Look at that! Oh my God, emerald. Ooh. This per kilogram, not per joule. Per kilogram, per kilogram. Germijevitite. Ooh, there we go. Alexandrite. Yeah. Jade is most sophisticated form of jade. Yeah, whatever. That was cool. Very, very interesting. Let's go to the next one. Shares the screen. The rarest precious metal. This is from Knowledge Archive from 2 years ago. I actually probably is, I don't know, he might still be around. But, Knowledge Archive, subscribe to him.
Is osmium. Osmium is a chemical element with the symbol OS and atomic number 76. It is a hard, brittle, bluish-white transition metal that is found as a trace element in alloys, mostly in platinum ores. It is a member of the platinum group. Osmium has a melting point of 3033 degrees Celsius and a boiling point of 5012 degrees Celsius. Osmium is the densest naturally occurring element. When experimentally measured using X-ray crystallography, it has a density of 22.59 grams per cubic centimeter. It is nearly 23 times as dense as water. Osmium is among the rarest elements in the Earth's crust, making up only 50 parts per trillion. It is estimated to be about 0.6 parts per billion in the universe, and it is therefore the rarest precious metal. Osmium was discovered in 1803 by Smithson Tennant and William Hyde Wollaston in London, England. Nowadays, osmium is obtained primarily from processing of platinum and nickel ores. Manufacturers use osmium alloys with platinum, iridium, and other platinum group metals to make fountain pen nib tipping, electrical contacts, and in other applications that require extreme durability and hardness.
Interesting. Now we're going to go to another shared screen. This is all about osmium, right? Another little 3-minute video by Diamond Setter. Right here, Diamond Setter, 3 days ago. A very well done video. I suggest you subscribe to him as well.
Other heavy elements was formed in the universe primarily during supernova explosions and neutron star mergers. These events took place billions of years after the Big Bang, following the life cycles of the first generation of stars. Today, osmium in its crystalline form is emerging as a new superstar, truly the new sparkle. It is the rarest precious metal, the densest of all metals, and has an uncounterfeitable crystalline structure, a purity of 99.9995%, and a stable price development. Crystalline osmium is valued in the market not only as a tangible investment asset, but also in luxury goods such as jewelry, watches, and fine art. Mined as a byproduct of platinum from ethical sources, it is refined to ensure purity, then brought to Switzerland for purification and crystallization. It is subsequently sent to Germany for quality control, cutting, certification, and packaging, before being distributed to osmium institutes worldwide. The crystallization process, discovered by our partner in Switzerland, took over 40 years to perfect. It involves at least 160 steps with high temperatures and pressures, making it an expensive and dangerous process. Each crystallized piece of osmium has a unique physical structure that is more detailed than a human fingerprint, with identifiability on a single square millimeter being 10,000 times more accurate. Each piece is certified at our headquarters in Germany, assigned an Osmium Identification Code, or OIC, and ultimately entered into the Osmium World Database. In the past 3 years, the jewelry market for osmium has grown by roughly 30%, with more growth anticipated. We have jewelry partners worldwide working with osmium. One such partner is the Diamond Setter. Gavin describes his experience of working with crystalline osmium in his jewelry pieces. Crystallized osmium is an emerging and exciting component in the world of jewelry. When I first discovered osmium, I was eager to learn more about it and explore its potential in my work. I seized the opportunity to create pieces incorporating osmium, collaborating with the German Institute to set my initial designs in gold jewelry. Interestingly, crystallized osmium is more akin to a gemstone than a metal, despite its base metal composition. In jewelry, I treat it like a stone with a hardness comparable to aquamarine or emerald,
Level
around
8.
8 on the Mohs scale. Notably, crystallized osmium is highly resistant to abrasion. Designing with crystallized osmium presents a unique challenge. Currently, it's only available in flat shapes and cannot be bent
What's
or
up,
curved.
C4?
However, it comes in various shapes, cuts, sizes, and depths, allowing for custom orders. Here's a breakdown of the jewelry making process with osmium. Preparation. Similar to traditional jewelry making, create your own design, melt, mill, form, solder, clean, and polish the piece. Setting. Prepare the setting as you would for a gemstone. Osmium offers the added advantage over gemstones of laser welding in place, laser from the back of the osmium. Finishing. Polish the piece as usual. The osmium's resistance to abrasion ensures the crystals remain intact. For rhodium plating, a special varnish step is necessary to protect the osmium before the rhodium process. After removing the varnish, sonic cleaning, and steam cleaning, your
That's a little something about. Let me let him finish.
piece is complete, adorned with the unique beauty of crystallized osmium, a truly rare jewelry piece.
Sorry, you know how I get. He was a little incomplete on his talk of the rhodium coated. What they do when they rhodium coat is they stick a positive negative charge in liquid rhodium and drop the piece in it. So what has to happen? The crystallized osmium has to have a coating put on it so it doesn't absorb that rhodium. But that's how you get different pieces coated in rhodium, for lack of a better word. here I think is a very interesting one. Oh, hold on a second. Saw someone backstage. Let me let them up here. Sorry about that, Long Live Coins. This is interesting. Watch this. This is cool. It's about 41 seconds. If it loads. Come on now, load for me. This is an osmium meteorite that hit the Earth. Let me refresh this.
Hello, வணக்கம்.
There we go.
2021 காலை 12ஆம் மாசம். இதுதான் விண்கல். மீட்டியோரைட் அண்ட் ஆஸ்டராய்டு விண்கற்கள். இது இரிடியம், ஓஸ்மியம், நிக்கல், அனைத்து விதமான பாவ பொருட்களும் இருக்குதுல. நேச்சுரல் மீட்டியோரைட்.
Isn't that kick butt? That fell from the sky. Mostly osmium and iridium and, iron. But typically you'll find in most asteroids platinum group metals, obviously. Let's see here. I got a couple of videos, but we don't have to show those since we have with us tonight Long Live Coins. What up, Chad? How's it going? Hold on. Wolf Sledgensteinhausen Dorf, excuse me. How's it going, Long Live Coins? Can you hear me?
Good, yeah. How are you doing, bud?
Excellent. Right on. Ian put you guys on the spot. Forgot he had his nephew and he's leaving tomorrow, so he wanted to spend time with him. Space Miner's supposed to be here as well, but it's just going to be you and I until Space Miner get here, talking about what we know about osmium. That's why I was showing the videos. And speaking of videos, hello, Silver. That's not it. I have to do the 30-second commercial, so everyone lower your volume. And here goes my 30-second osmium commercial. Sorry about that. That's self-promotion there.
Very nice. Did you say Ian wasn't going to make it tonight?
No, his nephew is leaving to go back to England tomorrow morning, and he wanted to spend this evening with him. And
Got it.
He said he'd do a live stream with me tomorrow after he leaves. Cool. So that just leaves us, and hopefully Space Miner doesn't bail out on us. He does know about it, but he, whatever. So it's going to be basically you and I right now talking all things osmium. What's up, Hagler? And that's why I've been showing, I started about 15 minutes early showing little 3 or 4 minute skits on crystallized osmium. I've got one, I believe, on the jewelry aspect of it. It's about a little 3.5 minute one set up ready to go. If you at any point in time you want to take a little break and show a couple of videos in case we run out of things to talk about or people don't ask questions in the chat or however it goes.
Okay. Did you show the video I showed on my stream with Ian that time?
No, I don't try and duplicate what others do. I try and show.
You're sure welcome to show it if you want to. It's on their main channel.
Oh, right on. Yeah, like I said, I got 2 more osmium based videos to show, and I've already shown I think 3, all different. One of them was in German. I think it was from the Osmium Institute themselves for the European market before they were introduced it here to America. So I think I grabbed one of their old videos. But it's all good. Ich nicht spreche sie durch. Ich lerne durch, as should everybody.
Oh, really?
Everyone should learn at least 3 languages before you're 60. Helps stimulate the mind, and when you go on vacation, helps make sure you're not getting fleeced by those locals.
Right. Okay, so I'm finding this. Yeah, so there's a English version of an osmium video here. Is about 9 minutes long. It's a pretty good one.
Okay.
Want
Let
me
me
to share my screen and drop it on there for you?
Yeah, we can do that. Let me try and make it full screen here. Solo layout. There we go. That's you, baby.
Okay, let me get there.
Oh, sweet, Hager. I speak a little bit Pig Latin. A long time ago, I did a lot better than now. It's actually very easy to pick up on. One of the easiest, actually.
Hey, y'all. You got me?
Oh, okay. I thought this was, yes, you're here. This is okay. So this is the one you want to show, Long Live?
Yeah, it's got some good basics in it.
Okay, right on. There we go.
All right, I'm going to run it then.
Yeah, let's do that. That way everyone can go get a coffee.
It sparkles and it glitters. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. This slogan is familiar, but it could soon be changed because what glitters here is osmium. Like gold, silver, or platinum, osmium is a precious metal and is increasingly used in jewelry making. Scarlett Klaus, the vice director of the German Osmium Institute, sees the following reasons for this.
Crystalline osmium is gaining popularity in the jewelry market, particularly among younger and more forward-thinking individuals. It is seen as the innovative addition that the jewelry industry looked for in recent years but just didn't get. Now there's the rarest non-radioactive element in the world. That it's a beautiful precious metal that can't be counterfeited is being very, very well received.
In 2014, osmium was the last of the 8 precious metals to be introduced on the world market for trading. Since then, it has risen sharply in price. It was initially only available as an investment metal, but currently more and more jewelers are adding osmium jewelry to their collections.
There are 2 clear instances where osmium can perform very well. In diamond jewelry, there is something called a pavé. A pavé is composed of many fractions of a carat, many small diamonds, and it is a very expensive surface that sparkles as a whole. But the value is not in the material, but in the work required to complete the setting of all these little pieces. When you take the materials themselves out, they are worth almost nothing. With crystalline osmium, you can create a very similar surface that sparkles as much or even more than diamonds. But in this case, the value is intrinsic. It's the high value of the precious material itself, which is undeniably appealing. Especially nowadays when people say, okay, I'd like to combine my jewelry with a tangible asset, the idea resonates strongly.
Designers and goldsmiths also value osmium for its ability to produce nearly flawless surfaces, providing them with complete creative freedom in shaping their designs.
And this is something which you can't do with a pavé. For instance, consider a sharply pointed logo that narrows towards the end. With traditional stones, there will always be one stone or diamond at the tip, preventing the creation of precise, acute angles. In contrast, we can achieve this level of precision with osmium cutting, enabling us to craft the finest logos, shapes, and the corresponding surfaces that stones can't replicate.
The new headquarters of the Osmium Institute is being built in the Bavarian town of Murnau am Staffelsee, about 70 kilometers south of Munich. Ingo Wolf is the scientific director of now 40 branches of the Osmium Institute on 5 different continents. He is in charge of laboratory analysis and supervises the Osmium World Database. Every single osmium product is registered on this platform.
And this database must always be perfect. And that is what the Osmium Institute stands for. If osmium were to be lost, for example, or stolen, or reappear on the market, or if a certificate was issued incorrectly, then we, the Institute, would be at fault and would have to pay for it with our assets. That's why we work very meticulously.
The extraction of osmium requires extremely precise work and begins in platinum mines located in regions such as Australia, South Africa, or
Platinum,
the Urals.
baby.
Initially, any non-platinum impurities, osmium being one of them, are dissolved from the ore. Crude osmium is then transported to Switzerland in the form of a gray powder. A meticulous process of crystallization is then carried out, a notably hazardous process.
Osmium crystallization was developed over 40 years ago, and only one company has managed it. The process is dangerous in a laboratory setting due to the toxicity of the substances contained
What's
within
up,
the
Gerald?
closed circuit. It involves high pressures and temperatures that must be meticulously controlled. This means that within the laboratory environment, there's not only a need to protect against theft of precious metals, but also to manage a highly hazardous procedure.
Once osmium is readily available in its standardized crystalline form, the refined metal is shipped to Germany. There it is cut by wire erosion into bars and inlays, and then scanned and certified by Wolf and his team in Murnau. Investors in kind now have the opportunity to purchase the finished crystalline osmium.
There are some standard shapes, such as discs and bars at no extra charge. Then cut shapes, such as small diamonds and stars.
The price is therefore determined by quantity and size. In
And
both
the
the
honeycomb
jewelry
shape.
and investment markets, it begins with modest investment.
What's that? What was that, Neil?
I said, and the honeycomb shape, your shape.
Oh yeah. Did you see the little circular cutout up there at the top of that? That was kind of interesting as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes as low as 100 euros. The price of a traditional engagement ring adorned with crystalline osmium, for example, typically starts at around 1,000 euros.
Uh-oh.
And
Ruh-roh.
then there are what I would almost call
Someone hit-
lighthouse projects, like the osmium violin, for example. It
There
comes
we
with
go.
an asking price of 3.5 million euros and features over 500 unique osmium elements handcrafted in Austria. Likewise, the world's most precious headphones have also integrated osmium. Now there's also someone looking to put osmium on motorcycle helmets for the first time. There are no limits to the luxury thoughts and, accordingly, of course, to the prices.
First of all, osmium is incredibly rare. And I mean really incredibly rare. 1,500 times rarer than gold. You have about 17 to 55 cubic meters of osmium in the Earth's crust, and yet only about 1 cubic meter of that is expected to be extractable. You don't have more than 22 tons of osmium available at all. That means we are dealing with a very, very narrow market here.
Every year, leading osmium experts meet at the IPMI and at the Osmium Symposia, organized by the Osmium World Council, to calculate when the raw material, crude osmium, will run out. Ingo Wolf estimates that this event could occur in just 10 to 15 years. In America, this moment has been nicknamed the Osmium Big Bang.
So we know now when this video was produced, they were not of that mindset, but now we know that time span is cut down quite a bit, right? You know?
Oh, yes, significantly.
Yes.
Yeah, after reevaluation of the stock, a full worldwide evaluation of stock, that number of supply went down big time, and the numbers have changed.
350 kilograms.
Yeah.
One cubic meter.
Yep.
Squared. So it's like not a lot. Like a
It's
basket.
a little over 6 million 2 millimeter squares.
Yeah, I can't sell everyone a nose ring. Sorry, guys.
And they're going to be done producing at was it 26, the end of 26 or something like that, 2026.
End of 2026. The gentleman who's running the scientific lab in Sweden is going to retire, and he's got the patented technique that's been developed over the 40-year process to what's up, Tom, to come up with the crystallized osmium in the shape that we know it and use in jewelry today.
Indeed. So I just thought I'd stop there. And so this product will be no longer produced after the end of 2026, according to plan right now anyway. So there's this finite amount that they have. They're going to produce it, and then that will be it. I'll go ahead and finish this video off. We got a couple minutes left.
The consequence would probably be a massive price increase.
Because you have a powerful effect when something runs out entirely. The crystalline osmium created from raw osmium has a secondary market. It actually goes into the vault with the real investors and stays there for 10 to 15 years. That's why they call it next generation metal.
In other words, this means that tangible asset investors acquire the precious metal for the next generation, their children, for example. Piece by piece, osmium
Secondary
is slowly
market.
moving over to the jewelry market.
And then it becomes less. This is called a thin out. Then you might have a very strong price effect again when it reaches zero, because there is simply nothing left. But the interesting thing is this. All of the metals go back into the real asset market, but you don't recycle osmium.
For while gold and silver jewelry can be melted down and reintroduced into the tangible asset market quite easily, such a process for osmium would be prohibitively expensive.
That is why osmium will not go back to the tangible asset market from the jewelry market. This means we have a thin out. The curve goes down, down, down. And once it's at zero, then we have the second possible price effect that one could experience. And it will probably be very significant because osmium is the first precious metal to run out completely.
Another critical aspect to consider with osmium is its scarcity in its raw form, while carbon, required for cost-effective diamond production, is abundantly available. According to the Osmium Institute, it is unlikely that osmium will experience a price decline similar to that seen in the gemstone market. Approximately 1,500 partners worldwide are actively contributing to the globalization of the osmium market. Currently, Scarlett Klaus is playing a pivotal role as a liaison between these institutes, the investment sector, and jewelers, accelerating and simplifying the journey from raw material to the final jewelry piece.
The new markets are coming up right now in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, so the Emirates. South Korea's market is on the rise. In China, we have just opened our first branch, the Osmium Institute in China. When these markets jump in, we are simply talking about a completely different price and market development. And that is, of course, where the real price development will be really exciting.
Simultaneously, construction is underway at the German headquarters for the inaugural European sales and showroom, serving as the flagship store for crystalline osmium and its associated products. Furthermore, a public access glass laboratory is being established. In Murnau, one can anticipate a future with a little more sparkle. And maybe one might soon hear osmium is a girl's best friend.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that one.
So yeah, we got Lolo asking in the chat there. So what's the best way to buy? Is free or just the osmium stone metal itself? And of course, that's a great question. And I suppose, what would you guys answer that? Whatever your taste prefers, I suppose, huh?
It depends. I always am saying perspective. It depends on your perspective. What was laid out in that video that was just shown is different levels of the possible increase and use case in business type scenario of different markets that will come available for it. Also, the fact that it's probably going to replace diamonds as a girl's best friend. So all the use cases for that. So there's a lot of use cases where it's going to surpass what's out there right now. So any one of those viewpoints could easily bring a person into the crystallized osmium, the jewelry creation. I mean, that's a great thing. What's up, Constantine? That's the great thing about this is like in sales, they say like your view is seen by like 8% of other people, and you have to convince the other 92% of you, whatever it is you're selling, to sell to them. But you have a certain percentage of people that are in your line of thought. So the great thing about this is it hits a lot of those 8%ers to where, I mean, when I saw it, went through my checkbox of things that are good to get into, it or above percent of just natural, it should be natural interest of the marketplace just because of what it is. And with that high or higher, it's going to sell out fast. And that's when the secondary market comes in. Therefore, back to the, how should you buy it? Well, just, even if you're wrong in buying, say you want to buy it a stack and then you want to change it in jewelry. Okay, well, you were wrong to buy it as a stack, but you did the best thing possible because you still bought some. So irrelevant to the fact of what perspective you come to, get it before it's gone is the bottom line. You know, you're here from whatever perspective brought you here. Just make sure to get some before you can't, because once it hits the secondary market, the price is going to go through the roof.
Well, you know, Neil, you're talking about that 8%, and that's quite an agreeable figure in a competitive market, meaning, you know, a market of competitors, you know, and this is one of those rare cases where not only are we going to watch the rise of a metal, but we're also going to watch the endangerment / possible extinction of a metal from the market, you know, for an undetermined amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, as far as that, you know, appealing to the 8%, well, it's the time crunch. You know, there's only so much available, and so it doesn't really matter because you only need 1% of that 8%, you know, to dominate a market, and then it's over.
It's so rare. That's the great thing about it.
And then it's over. Then we've watched the thin out. We've watched, you know, we've seen the complete out of the thin out, and then we're just then looking for the osmium Big Bang, you know, and when that
it is the
which
silver
is a product of the secondary market, of course.
Yeah, what we're seeing in the next, by the end of 2026, by the end of the creation of the osmium, crystallized osmium in its form now, we'll have seen what I predict the silver squeeze to look like, but on steroids and faster. Nice piece.
So Lolo, I got a piece for my wife, this little shooting star right here, and I put it into a pendant here for, you know, for her to wear as a necklace, and I really like it. That's one nice way to do it. But also, I think after this, me personally, I'm just going to be getting probably a hexagon piece or just a round piece or a square piece, just for the weight. Find something where there's not an extra charge for the cutting process to make a unique design. Just get something standard with it and get it as close to base price as possible. That's probably what I'll do in the future, since I've kind of already got a pretty piece for the wife. And now I'll probably just go for the weight of stacking, kind of as I would with other metals. So that's just what I did personally, but just to give you an idea of how I approached it.
That's a combined way to look at it, actually, of buying it for the jewelry and buying it for future secondary market. Because buying in the big cube, like you were saying, you're not paying the price extra for having it cut. And when it does come time to sell, you include that price in the sale, so you're not absorbing that price. You're actually making more money long term by stacking and then doing the jewelry later than buying now and doing jewelry now.
Yeah. Oh, you're in Denver. Well, I'm in Denver as well, Lolo. So that's cool. Jackson Hole is indeed beautiful. We drove from Denver to Jackson Hole earlier this year, so it's a beautiful place down there for sure too.
Yeah, I was up there a little bit earlier this year, like right at the height of, you know, early summer. And oh my goodness, it was gorgeous. That it's just full of mountains and valleys and rivers and green stuff everywhere. And coming from New Mexico, I'll tell you, that was a real pleasure. So
yeah. Well, coming out of the I guess it would be east of Wyoming, there in the flatlands and the windy area. You know, I didn't realize that Wyoming got that beautiful as it is up there, but man, it is nice.
What's up, Shadow?
Steamboat Springs, Gerald. Yeah, that's nice too.
Well, I think
you know, I thought that was.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I got popcorn. I'll easily fill my mouth with that. Go ahead.
You know, you guys were onto it earlier, kind of addressing the investment side. You know, like the best form to invest in, and the best way to get it. And I think one of the bigger things to notate to anybody that's new and making considerations towards this is there's pretty much two primary viewpoints on this. There's the get the big disc and wait for the secondary market where people are going to want to then cut new unique shapes, custom shapes, or just make more of the impossible to find, 3, 4, 5 millimeter diamonds,
Mm-hmm.
And so they're really these people are aiming at 15 plus years. So anybody that goes that investment route, we're talking about that product leaving the market for at least, a decade and a half to 2 decades or more, considering this really is a generational metal in a lot of senses. But for the guys that are really want to use it for the turnover, and aren't planning on holding it like the extreme length of time, there's all the smaller like Neil was saying a second ago, all your smaller pre-cut pieces pretty much cost incorporated. This is the sticky premium, just like any silver, gold, or platinum piece, so when you can absorb these when you can absorb these like these 2 millimeters, and these 3 millimeter pieces and these 4s, and you can get these very small divisible fractional amounts, that makes it ready to use for the jeweler. That makes it ready to use for almost any application, and all your premiums have already been paid for, with the cutting costs, the packaging costs, the certification costs that, are naturally incorporated into the production of the product, so really, if you're planning on having a large client base, in the future, or planning, even if you are planning 10, 15 years down the road, get your cutting costs out of the way right away while these pieces are still available.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, there's always going to be big discs available. Now, whether or not you're willing to pay for them is another thing, but there will be big discs available. However, you think of what's most accessible to a person. Well, naturally, it starts at the lower costs. Those lower costs are the smaller piece. And so those are going to be the first to be absorbed. They're going to be the easiest to consume and easiest to use, for that matter. It's a lot easier to use a 5 millimeter piece of osmium than it is a 15 millimeter piece of osmium, you see.
Indeed.
And so
For jewelry, yes, but there is the other side to that, and I agree. Probably for our market, what we'll be dealing with, I probably agree with you on that, Space Miner. But Ian was also talking about that they're going to be doing a lot of cutting even after they shut down in 2026, because there is another side, a group of people who are buying the big discs just right up front, knowing that I'll figure out what I want later down the road, and I can cut it out of this disc. So there are people who are, obviously very wealthy, who are buying the discs up, knowing that they can cut those shapes up later. And that's one of the things that the Osmium Institute is staying in business for. Is
Oh yeah, I think Ian said quite a while ago, in the European market, there was a few families that are trading the discs back and forth as a monetary resource between themselves.
Yeah. And
In
another
other words, business outside of the system, big business.
Yeah, and then we were talking about the honeycomb hexagon, and one of the reasons he was excited about it, I mean, obviously, why I'm excited about it, but is that because in that particular shape, they don't have to have any excess cutting costs. Well, I don't understand.
You fill all the
no
space.
off cut.
But he was saying that that's something. I think that they can get this hexagon pieces, and also there's a certain size that is just a circular disc, and they're going to try to get some of those just as kind of like bullion pieces and push them out at kind of a bullion cost with no extra cutting cost.
Don't you love the bees geometry?
And
Very efficient.
to kind of complement what you were saying, LLC, to complement that is the fact that when you purchase in the larger discs, you are getting a greater value for your dollar. because a lot of those costs just are not incorporated, period. And so you're getting more weight for your value.
Yep.
And so when you combine that with the timing of the market, meaning we are so dango early,
Yeah.
this would be an optimal time to possibly consider shooting for the bigger discs
Yep.
and planning on that longer haul and securing it, because nothing's stopping you from selling it on the way, you know?
Indeed, and it gives you so many options. If you see something down the road that you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Well, now you have a base to work off of.
Right. And the Osmium Institute's purpose in this is, like Neil was saying, is that, yeah, it is going to stay in business for the purpose of certification, recertification. There's because the facility has to be maintained, and that's part of that trust process. It's like you can't just walk off on everybody. But, they've also retained the contracts to the facilitating of the crystallization process as well. It's an open-end contract. There is no timeout, And so if they ever wanted to pursue it again, or they gained a large amount of osmium and they wanted to restart, I mean, hypothetically, they're still in the lead of the game too.
Oh yeah. No, that's what no one really even talks about. Is after this gentleman in Switzerland actually steps down, there's gonna other people. It's just like in mining. When the money's right, you always discover a new mine. If the money's right, someone else will step up and perfect the same system that the gentleman has now, and they'll put the money into perfecting it if that's what it takes or whatever it takes, and it will eventually be able to be crystallized in the same form again later on down the road. I have no doubt about that. And as far as supply, there's a lot of supplies that's going to actually, the world's leading supplier of platinum is going to be in Canada. And I can guarantee it's going to be ethically mined. So that's not
currently 70 to 75% comes out of South Africa, followed behind by Russia, and then followed behind by like Canada, and I want to say Ethiopia or Nicaragua. I can't remember. Ethiopia, maybe. Mostly along those igneous alluvial, veins. So
don't be trying to talk all smart and stuff over there.
They're gonna pull stuff from the dirt, and you get benefits.
What's Matthew got going over here, showing us his full stack?
Yeah, look at Matthew go over there. Goodness.
Yeah, he's been building for a while. What was that in the little egg capsule, in that little
Dude,
oval?
I have no idea. My brother and his wife, she's from China. They just went to China to visit, and she got this for me. It's 10 grams of silver, and it's in this weird container. She said that the writing on the top of it says it means currency in their old language or something.
So like a historical replica or something, maybe?
Yeah, it's like a little, I want to say canoe, but like
what
really.
province is she from? Do you know?
I don't exactly know off the top of my head.
I think it's the same as like Mexico, where silver is plata means money. The same in Chinese as well as silver means money. I think, right? I think so.
Well, I'm reclaiming our Chinese silver. 10 grams at a time.
Nice.
No, it's cool though. I don't know where she got it. She said she just picked it up and thought of me.
Right on.
Yeah, I have no idea. No, this is just the stuff I went to go check a bunch of my gold to make sure it was real. But these are awesome, dude. They have no milk spots. Well, until I keep messing with them. But my platinum stack here.
It's a nice piece of platinum.
I got 4 of them.
Right on.
That's the challenge.
You'll love owning platinum.
Yeah, it should start to surprise. I'm thinking it could really jump as well. Might jump fast.
It's lagging.
Everyone's going to be surprised at what platinum's going to do.
It is definitely lagging at the moment.
Well, platinum represents 8 out of the 10 of our precious metal. I mean, 6 out of the 8 of our precious metals. Excuse me. And
I was gonna say,
yeah, I'm like 8 out of 10. You know,
I was going to ask you ours yet.
but no, for real though. 6 out of the 8 are platinum. You know, our platinum group metals are platinum group elements.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
You know, and so platinum is it you can't run from platinum, and you know, the necessity of platinum in use case market. You know, like look, gold, don't get me wrong, gold is quite productive, okay, but where we've been going with our sciences, you know, and like, you know, between electrical and thermal conductivity alone, you know, you're right away you have a necessity of all your platinum group metals. And then you start looking at catalysts and alloys, and you're in platinum group metals. You know, you start, and so, I mean, I could go on, and then you look at like the accountability of platinum over gold. You know, considering platinum is easy to account for through the mining of it alone, compared to gold, which, you know, you kick over a rock and boom, you're rich.
Yeah.
You know,
and you don't have to report all of it either.
So, you know, platinum, like gold, don't get me wrong, gold is gold, and it'll stay gold, and it'll be gold, and everybody loves gold, and we all love gold, right? But
Love it.
No, I don't love gold.
You know, but platinum, you know, it's
I
the
love
necessity of it alone, the rarity of it alone, and,
You know-
and every single one of them are just uber rare.
This is
Hey,
another
hey, you want to
podcast.
see some silver that survived a fire, a house fire?
Right on.
Yeah, platinum is sleeping for way too long. I'm gonna keep buying it now that gold is like unobtainable.
Yeah, not a
Well, you
bad-
might as well capture it while it's at low production cost.
Yeah, it's not.
You
a
know?
bad- Yeah.
Yeah, but I need to get some osmium this year for sure. Just waiting to get my money right.
You
Yeah.
know, there are. No, sorry, pardon me, B.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That when you're looking at platinum, you're allowed to look in other places in platinum as well, because you have your platinum iridium group platinum, and then you have your platinum palladium group platinums. You know, so when you're looking at osmium, you know, osmium is crystal osmium makes for the most verifiable, and that, so I would say the safest of your platinum group purchases would be in osmium. The safest, most guaranteed, like you're definitely going to get your product, is going to lie in crystal osmium. But right behind that, you know, with iridium and ruthenium, I mean, verifiability is just peak because of the densities alone, you know, and so any of those platinum group metals are great investments, especially right now.
Oh, I like it that I could get my girl like a ring, and it would be nice as heck and like way cheaper than diamond, but it's real and it could become more expensive than diamond. And you can't make it in a lab. I mean, you make it in a lab, but you can't just grow it.
I'd like to answer William's question on what makes me bullish on platinum, and it's like totally different than what you guys are saying. It is it's being mined out. Everyone knows South Africa is the largest supplier of platinum on the planet. They've got 80% of it mined. They're down to less than 20% of it to mine. So now you know this. What do you do with industries? When you look at industries, you're going to say, "Oh, well, they're just going to mine it out, and then we're going to have nothing, and it'll be all okay." You know, you can go on that camp, and you'll be wrong. What businesses is businesses look to the future when they see things coming up, and they do drill patterns, drill results. And for the past 20 some years, Canada's like it's like a redheaded stepchild. The property of Canada itself. There's so many drill holes in it from all these geological surveys over the past 20 years. Over those geological studies, they found the largest vein of platinum ever discovered on the planet. The company that owns the rights to that vein of platinum, well, they ain't going to mine it until the price goes up. So now you have the conundrum of looking at platinum in South Africa is 80% of it's mined out. They're fixing to run out. Someone, something, somehow, somewhere is suppressing the price of platinum. No new platinum will be mined on this planet until the price returns back to normal or more normal. So now what you have is whoever was manipulating the price has the whole rest of the world and all this new technology forcing the manipulators to stop manipulating the price, so other companies can start mining the platinum where we know it's at, and we won't have a disruption in service of having platinum available to us for the new technologies that are fixing to come out in the next 6 months or so. So here shortly, platinum is going to freaking boom just from that information on its own, much less all the other reasons.
Yeah, it's the sleeper, the mega sleeper.
Mega manipulated.
Well,
Oh, that's
I was
fine
just
with
about
me.
to say that, man. Like, look, I have a little catchphrase I've been using. And it goes like this: if your buddy the dealer ain't your buddy anymore, do you still think you'll be getting a deal from your dealer? And obviously the answer to that is no. And so if you're having issues with a major supplier and that major supplier decides to jack you around, then it's going to have an obvious economic impact, on the availability of the material. So
Yeah, we might have to be breaking into that Canadian ground here.
Soon, very, very soon, my friend. And they're going to have to fast track a lot of topsoil moving out of the way to get it going. And that means what you want to do. Now it goes further into the PM world. Knowing this information, you're like, okay, well, your next question should be, holy crap, if what Neil's saying is correct, that means whoever owns that mine, their stock's going to go up. Who owns that mine? Who owns the rights to it? Okay, Clear Air Energy out of Canada. They own it. Their stock's like 6 to 8 cents right now. It's going to freaking boom. In my opinion, it's not professional advice. I'm a clown who dropped out of college, joined the army. I'm not smart. But their stock is going to boom because they own the rights to that platinum. And the system's going to be changing here very, very, very fast over the next year or two. And their stocks, and what'll probably happen is they'll probably sell out to a larger company that actually has the equipment to do the mining. Because I don't know, I haven't researched Clear Air Energy enough to know if they actually have. Just because you have the rights to a mine and mine something doesn't mean you have the ability to mine something. So they're probably going to grab their money by having their stock price go up, and then they'll sell the rights to mine it to a larger company. And what I've seen from Impala Mining, and it used to be a large miner, I've seen its decrease in demise from $40 a stock down to $5 or $6 a stock. And what happens is that as they're going down, they liquidate assets, and they're selling off the rest of the remaining of their assets. But as they're going up, they acquire assets. So whoever's going to buy out Clean Air Energy will probably also look down toward the Colombia and Central America, because I think there's going to be like a placer mine discovery or a semi-placer mine discovery of platinum down there, because I think most of the platinum in the next 100 years will be mined in the North American continent. And that's going to give America control of all the world's technologies and advancements for the next 100 years. So don't worry about America. We'll be fine. Economically and productivity wise, we'll be fine. I heard someone today. Go ahead.
I'd say our minds are currently being suppressed by one factor alone of the suppression you could look at would be economic suppression. Like, how much does it actually cost you in that
Well-
USD in your bank account to produce that. And right now, you know, it's crazy expensive. You know, you look at the cost of fuel, cost of equipment, cost of,
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know, insurance, regulations, shipping, etc.
Yeah.
It's through the
Yeah.
roof. And so that of course lends to your
And-
observation of
that makes exponentially it worse for South Africa and the platinum mines because they're at 2,200 meters below the planet's surface right now. And they've got to pump in a lot of fuel to get oxygen and cooling and electricity and all this stuff down 2,200 meters. And it gets more expensive as it goes. It gets a lot more expensive as it goes. So they've only got more it costs, and the price of platinum's going down. And that's where you got to look at the world market. Because they say this time is different. Yeah, this time is different. We have the whole world involved in this economy. So there's bigger players than there was the last time that we had a shift of where platinum came from. And never before in history have we ever had a use case for platinum like we're going to have. And as I was going to say, there's this other guy, not Joe Rogan, but another podcaster, bald guy, ex-military guy. He's got like a couple million subscribers. He was doing a podcast with I can't remember this older guy with the beard's name. He's into old school archaeology and timed events. And he was saying that it was for the extinction event from 13,000 years ago. The extinction event was due to an asteroid, and how they proved it was through the platinum group metals. And they proved the last extinction event in the beginning of the Ice Age was caused by an asteroid, and they used the platinum group metals to determine that. And how they determined that is everybody knows about space mining and stuff like Neil's always talking about, that there's a lot of platinum group metals out in asteroids. So the only way an asteroid could hit the Earth and spread iridium, and it was iridium they found all over the planet Earth, all at a certain layer of crust, all at approximately 13,000 years ago, all across the planet, all delivered by the same thing. So that's what they call an extinction event. And they've got proof of it, that it was an asteroid, because that iridium that platinum group metal is all around the planet Earth on every continent at a certain depth level of archaeology. And that's how they've proved that there was a large asteroid that extinguished most of the life on this planet about 12,900 years ago.
Hey, Niels, can they, you know how they, like, they'll, in, like, Krugerrands and stuff and Eagles, they'll mix a little copper to make it, like, harder. Can they mix platinum and gold?
I don't see how they could, because the melting points are too different. I don't think it would work well. And
Okay.
You just don't take it out of the gold. It's already in gold. Like when you're pulling them out, you have to purify the platinum out of gold. So like in ancient coins, they're not, they didn't even know about platinum. So
Yeah.
some of the other metals that are in there, that would probably be one of them, because you can't purify it out, like Neil said, unless you get up to a hotter degree.
Yeah.
So
I think it'd be cool to mix them, though. You know what I mean? Like if you made a metal that was half gold, half platinum.
Cool. You give it a try. I'm not going down that road.
Yeah, no, it's too expensive for me.
That's what I was thinking. But I don't discourage anyone from trying just because I can't afford to do it. Tell you,
I just imagine the colors mixing. That shit would look cool.
You gotta look at rose gold.
Yeah, no, I like rose gold a lot. How do
If
they
you
make that?
make that, that'll sell, because not too many people make that.
What do
yes,
they
that's the one that turns. I seen a few. There's green gold and purple gold.
Yeah. Purple gold is rose gold.
Okay.
It's just really, really rose, or what?
It all depends. I think there's, was it aluminum or tin or something like that they add to it to make it that color. I spoke with some guy here. One of your friends, I believe, Space Miner, does that, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think it's a tin. I want to say it's a tin. Tin's used in like a lot of different alloys. Yeah. And I think what that has to do with is like
melting
well, it's kind of like that, because scientifically the concept goes that the less viscous material, or the more viscous the material, then it wants to rise to the surface, of
Yep.
course. Okay, the less dense. And so when you have it in the form of like an alloy, I guess it's creating like microcrystalline structures. You know, the same way.
What I see the mixing of alloy of two metals from an alloy, because they did it even in the Bronze Age. That's how copper and I think nickel or copper and lead made brass or something like that is what they initially used or something. And what they found is the heat of the metal, and this is why they use copper so much, because it boils at a low temperature.
It's all about low densities.
Yeah, the hotter, the more mix you have of the two metals, the more closely when they cool, the more closely on a cellular level they are to each other than themselves, the better mix you have. You understand how that, because it's real. I'm surprised they did it back then, and I can see why a lot of their stuff was kind of crude and didn't survive through contamination in years. But it's a real temperature-based thing, and you also have to have the right kind of agitation in the substances so that they'll blend evenly as they're cooling, because you have two things that they heat and cool at different temperatures that you're trying to combine into one thing, and you don't want like all of the one that cools at like it's like lava. You don't want all of this one substance cooling faster than the other substance, because it makes it brittle, and then you'd be wasting your time mixing the two.
You know, I found out something that I thought was kind of interesting, looking into ancient coins. And when you're looking into those ancient cultures, the Phoenicians and the Greeks, and all the way back to like 1000 BC and whatnot, they knew about an island that tin was being brought in from, and that island supplied that whole area with tin for like 1,000 plus years. That might actually be Brit tin. They're talking about how the name had
Brit, yeah,
carried down for thousands of years, basically.
That is very interesting.
So,
With modern technology, I think they've discovered a lot of the Minoan. I think it's the Minoan Bronze Age people actually got their copper from North America, because they've done testing on the Bronze Age stuff they found from the Minoan civilization, and discovered that the chemical compounds of the copper were from North American copper mines. Well, surface, not mines, but surface copper in a certain area of
gotta go.
Right on, brother.
cool.
But let's get back more towards osmium. That's what this is supposed to be about. Let's not talk about all this other stuff. Thank you.
Did
Jane.
I hear osmium?
Yes, and that's what we want to talk about. And I want to get back to Long Live Coins had a not commercial, but a little 9-minute presentation from the Osmium Institute. I have a similar one, but different, from the same Scarlet. I'd like to show. It's only 3 minutes, and it'll get us back on track here with the Osmium.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen auf der Show hier in Hamburg. Mein Name ist Scarlett Klaus. Ich bin hier mit dem Osmium Institut und der Oslery GmbH, und bei uns heute dreht sich alles um das seltenste Edelmetall der Welt. Ja, also Osmium ist tatsächlich das exklusivste oder innovativste, was es derzeit auf dem Schmuckmarkt gibt, aus ein paar Gründen. Zum einen ist es das dichteste Element, was es gibt auf dieser Welt. 22,61. Es ist dichter und schwerer als Gold, als Silber, als all die anderen Metalle. Zusätzlich hat es die höchste Abriebfestigkeit, den höchsten Kompressionsmodul. Es schützt gegen Gammastrahlung. Es ist ein Supraleiter bei Niedertemperatur. Also man hat ganz viele Superlative physikalisch schon, die bei Osmium allein schon das Ganze faszinierend machen. Jedes Stück Osmium ist absolut einzigartig. Wie ein menschlicher Fingerabdruck lässt sich die kristalline Struktur immer wieder erkennen. Und die Oslery GmbH, das ist meine eigene Firma, die macht hauptsächlich Inlay-Produktionen. Das bedeutet, wann immer für Schmuckstücke besondere Formen gefragt werden, die abweichen von unseren Standardformen, wie diesen einzelnen kleinen Osmium Diamonds. Wann immer es was Besonderes ist, das ist quasi das, was meine Firma macht. Wir schneiden diese Stücke dann und zertifizieren sie wieder in Zusammenarbeit mit dem Osmium Institut. Wir sind ja hier mit zwei Firmen, der Oslery GmbH und dem Osmium Institut. Und das Osmium Institut führt Osmium international in die Märkte ein. Das bedeutet, es zertifiziert ist und arbeitet zum Beispiel die Zollbestimmungen aus mit den unterschiedlichen Ländern, gründet Partnerinstitute weltweit und findet Händler, die es international als Sachwertanlage in den Verkehr bringen. Man könnte es für viele in der Industrie verwenden, dafür ist es aber zu selten. Und das ist schon das Zweite, was es sehr besonders macht. Es ist nämlich das seltenste nicht radioaktive Element der Welt. Das bedeutet, wir haben das seltenste Element der Welt, was unglaublich schön aussieht und zusätzlich noch absolut unfälschbar ist, weil jedes Stück einzigartig ist. Und das macht es sowohl als Sachwertanlage als auch natürlich als Schmuckmetall mit den gewissen Emotionen dahinter sehr spannend. Mein persönliches Highlight ist immer noch das Collier, tatsächlich, das man hinter mir sehen kann, das Orient-Collier. Das wurde für mich ganz persönlich angefertigt. Ich habe eine sehr gute Freundin, die Designerin und Illustratorin ist und habe ihr einfach gesagt, fertige doch bitte mal was an, was wirklich einfach ich bin, was mich als Person ausdrückt. Und sie hat das gezeichnet, hat dann den Entwurf noch ein bisschen überarbeitet, zusammen mit mir. Und ich glaube, von all den Stücken, die wir haben, auch wenn wir andere haben, die die 100.000 Euro Grenze weit durchschlagen haben, ist das immer noch mein absolutes Lieblingsstück. Mittlerweile gibt es schon sehr, sehr viele Hersteller, die auch in Serie gegangen sind und kleinere Stücke anfertigen. Aber was ich von der Oslery GmbH immer noch als Auftrag immer wieder mal bekomme, ist tatsächlich dann ein exklusives Einzelstück. Also wenn wirklich jemand sagt, ich will ein Osmium-Schmuckstück haben, das eben sagt, okay, das bin ich, das ist genau das, was ich will, Einzelanfertigung auf Wunsch, dann können wir das tun. Und zwar vom ersten Moment an, also gerne auch ein Grunddesign aufzeichnen oder überhaupt erstmal Ideen aufnehmen, bis hin zur nur Osmium-Lieferung oder auch zum Bauen des fertigen Schmuckstücks. Also jeden Schritt entlang dieses Weges zum exklusiven Einzelstück können wir begleiten und helfen gerne den Leuten dabei, ihr persönliches Osmium-Goldstück zu erhalten.
There we go.
Very nice.
Yeah, I knew your video, and that's why I looked for a different video, and it was a little 3-minute cut.
Cool.
Did we lose? We did. We lost Space Miner.
Uh-oh.
He must have had something to do. Oh, well. He'll come back if he's got time, I'm sure.
Indeed, indeed. High German, huh?
Yeah, there's actually, like, when I was learning German school, there's 3 types of German that they taught. So what I took was the general German that everybody basically learns. But there's 3 general types or languages in Germany. And actually, if you get or dialects, and there's actually more when you get to the northeast in the hills, the Black Mountains, Black Hills. There's a couple of different dialects there as well, but they're a smaller use case.
Cool, cool. Let me see if I can get you the link for that, Gerald.
There you go. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. Go ahead and do what you're doing now. I just had a thought. One 30-second commercial gave you all the talking points.
Nice.
Didn't go into depth.
You just saved me a life's work.
I can thank JM for that one. And he did another better one, actually, because he changed the color of the reds that way. And the lady, if there's any ladies in chat right now, you can tell me if you'd like to see the osmium on top of different colors, imagining what it would look like if you were to, wear different colored dresses or purses or whatever you decide on. And his other commercial was like a minute and a half. It changed colors behind it to where you could get a visual of, if I had this dress on, it would look good. And it looks good with every color. And I'm sure, not meaning to go there, but it even looks good if you don't have any color on. And I'll leave it at that.
Is that an official statement?
No, that was a non-financial advice. I'm a clown. Drop out of high school statement.
So I have a little list here, and I'm looking for eight things that I can kind of memorize here for osmium. I'm a little light, I think. More like 7 here. I have 8, but I need you guys let me know if you have another one for this list. So number 1, most rare element known to man, non-radioactive. It's the most dense is number 2 element known to man. Number 3 is the most reflective
It
element,
is.
I would say.
Hold on.
Okay.
It is. You're gonna have to scratch that one. Okay.
Which one?
The most reflective.
Okay.
Okay. It is not the most reflective substance in the world. Okay. That actually belongs to a polished aluminum, and then with silver and osmium falling shortly behind, but it actually belongs to a polished aluminum now. So,
but it is this the precious metal. It is the most shiny. It is of the precious metals.
So, and it also carries the rare attribute of it absorbs the red light and reflects blue.
Yeah,
And
it's the only precious metal that has a natural blue hue to it. If you set silver and osmium side by side, the osmium will be a shinier, more reflective, but it will also have a bluish hue to it that silver doesn't, and that's natural.
Okay, hold on.
All right, here, let's get back on your list.
Yeah,
let's reduce this to look. It's got extreme reflectivity. It is among the most reflective substances in the world.
Okay, yeah, of the precious metals, it is the most. But did you put it above, or you said that silver was more reflective?
I'm struggling to find a clear answer. Okay, because crystal osmium is so new. So is the refinement of that work. So it'd be interesting to see if we could, but I don't know that it ever could, because it absorbs a whole wavelength of light. So, like anything that reflects a full spectrum of light could, in essence, best it. Based on that quality. But however, for the amount of natural faceting, the amount of sparkle, like, it's got to be the most sparkly of all of them.
You will see. And, yeah, I mean, because I heard, I'm going to have to ask Ian where he got that, because I think Ian was telling me, or maybe I got it wrong, but I thought he was telling me that it did overtake silver for most reflective. So,
and see, that's how I've understood it too, because, and that has to do with the crystal planes, the sides of the crystal, because we're talking about like these perfectly little uniform crystal latticing structures of osmium, ultra dense, like how, even with like light bombardment, it's got nowhere to go. Light's got nowhere to go but back out, except in this case, it kind of absorbing a whole spectrum, that's, because there's a lot of attributes to the most.
Okay, well, see, it's interesting that you say it's absorbing the red, and I believe you that it is, but I also heard that it is actually reflecting more of the complete light than most things. So maybe it is except for red, and it's swallowing red. I mean, I need to learn more about that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, and but it is definitely. I mean, all of those crystals are near perfect little mirrors. And in fact, osmium has another use case. The crystalline osmium has another use case in reflectivity, from like kind of like a plating of a sort.
I heard it makes good fishing lures.
Excuse me? Yeah,
I heard it makes good fishing lures.
I've been trying to. There's a YouTuber, Wacky Lures, who really wants to use some of this stuff, and I was supposed to talk to him today, but I got filled up at the shop with my friend. So
It was just
But
a record.
yeah, I've been trying to
So
get guys to use it. I'd love to see it in a jig, some kind of spinner or spoon, something. You could replace an eye. I don't know. I just see lots of uses, but it's so different of a material. I think guys have a hard time comprehending what you're actually telling them sometimes. So, because it's
okay,
just,
so let's continue on with my list because this is good. This is what I
please
want
do, please do, please do.
to lock down. And so I'm gonna put in with the big question mark, most reflective of the precious metals until I get that turned upside down. I'm gonna go with that and see. I'm gonna talk to Ian, see what he has for backup information for me on that. So, but if
Yeah,
it
I'm sorting that out too. So
if it turns out that silver is more reflective, then yeah, I'll have to scratch that one.
It's the visual
Because I was always walking around saying silver is the most reflective metal, but then I heard that osmium, crystalline osmium, had overtaken it. So maybe that's
that was my understanding, and I said, and I may be responsible for some of that misinformation, if it is in fact misinformation. But I recently a friend of mine had checked me on that, and he was like, "Whoa," he's like, "Look, sorry to tell you this, but recently, that category belongs to a polished aluminum." And so which kind of like ends that, like, but I would say with the natural occurrence of it, I mean that like
right.
the naturally formed crystals, it's got I mean that is, oh my goodness,
right. Yeah,
easily the most sparkly.
Right, naturally occurring, we would probably take that for sure. Like you're saying, it's already so dense and flat and reflective. But yeah, I'll look into that and watch my wording on that one. So the next one, the most abrasion resistant.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and then I have after that with hardness level on par with diamonds.
No.
It's a 7 on the Mohs compared to a diamond rocking at a 10. But
I heard 8 on the scale.
There have been tests that get up pretty higher, but like as a declaratory statement, the safe number is 7.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay, so this is awesome. This is great information. So I think that's more what I heard and thought too, is that yes, the hardest is going to be your diamond, but on just your average diamond to osmium, crystalline osmium, that they're about a match. So that's interesting. I just added that little bit about the diamonds. I could take that off, but it is the most abrasion resistant element. No.
Yeah, because they're not as hard, but the key is abrasion resistant. That really is the key. Is the abrasion resistance.
Okay, I'm just going to take that extra that I put on there off. But it is,
and that probably have to do with its resistance to compression. So
yeah, it's still brittle.
Yeah. It is brittle, but being stronger, and being stronger, I suppose that would resist shearing. So
yeah,
and edge deformation, so
yeah. Okay, most inert metal. No.
Yeah,
it's ultra inert. It's, I can't think of one that's more inert.
My run for presidency.
Yeah, it's ultra.
Okay, and then number 6, that was 5. Number 6, it also has an unreplicable code built into each piece, marrying physical assets with digital security.
Yes.
So the unreplicable code, yeah. So it's natural code. It's a very natural code. Like when you consider like the nucleation process, it's a random formation of crystals. you know, and a random formation of crystal growth. And although like the Osmium Institute does quite a fine job of controlling those features, you know, you can still tell within every piece, you know, that there's, you know, just thousands of deviations, you know, but I wouldn't say any flaws, just deviations,
Yeah.
you know, in the crystal formation.
Right. I mean, each one's unique, and then it can't be done with another material because there's not a material as dense as osmium. So to like fake it, you can't really do it.
Well, and beyond that is that if you think about the actual geometric shape of a crystal, that's going to change based on the different metal. You know, each metal having its own kind of natural crystal formation, you know? And so whenever you have osmium, osmium's the only one that's going to form, you know, these certain angles and these certain heights versus, you know, population growth within the crystal. And like there's probably 100 other different features about that crystal that I don't know about.
Yeah.
That's
So that
question for LLC right here.
okay.
I got it highlighted on the screen.
Okay, I got this page over I'm trying to on my list. Sorry. So yeah, what?
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah, so I got,
specific question. Lolo asks, is there a place in Colorado that I can see this complex? Go COPMEX, whatever that is. Thank you, my local dealer for PMs.
yeah, I mean, we could probably meet up somewhere if you wanted to see it in person, if that's what you were wondering. We could probably make that happen. I don't have a physical location right now. Most of my dealings are over the internet, but if you're in the area, yeah, we could hook up. We can, if you just send me an email, longlivecoins@gmail.com, and we can set something up.
There you go.
Yeah, so I have 2 left, and I'm trying to get to 8. If I can do 8, my 8th one is it's the 8th and final precious metal to be brought to the precious metal market. So, but
yeah, in a safe form, mind you, in a safe form,
in a safe,
non-hazardous form.
Correct, right? Yes, and I got it.
That knocks out a lot of the pre-existing issues that people have with osmium.
Right. And then so I don't have 7. So number 7, I have the purest metal, just because I'm scratching for one more thing. So, but I don't know if you guys have another one that I'm missing, or
what is it? It's the heaviest.
Well, most dense is well.
Well, it's the dense. It's got the greatest value per density.
Value per density, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll add that. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the same.
Well, that's pretty important when you consider the store of your value. You know?
That's true.
And then, and when you talk about the moving of when you want to talk about moving a value, you know, like that becomes like a pretty important feature, you know, because like A is just the ability to transport wealth, hide wealth, secure your wealth, and part of securing it is the ability to get your hands back on it and it be discreet. Dude, you can run a metal detector over this stuff. It's a paramagnetic, and you can run a metal detector over it and not hear a thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. You haven't seen my video where I threw down a bag of it, and I brushed it over some silver, and then I brushed it over some. I brushed it over like silver and like some nails or something, and then like I don't remember exactly what I did, but pretty much the whole point of the video was like, look, if you're like one of those guys that likes to put his metal in the dirt where he found it, you know, then, you know, when it comes time for them to look for your metal, think about it. You could walk through scanners. We're not talking about unlawfully. We're talking about discreetly. there is a difference, like a diamond guy. When you go dealing diamonds, a lot of these guys are, got little secret waist pouches and belt saves and, all sorts of different stuff. And so the ability to move, 20,000, by putting it between your wrist and your watch might be pretty important.
No, that's what I was kind of talking to, I think it was Ian about. And I know that the Osmium Institute has done some looking into crossing borders and making it more easy for customs and not locking it up. And so they're working to form a method.
Well, the method is the code. So what I mean by that is that the first two prefixes of your OIC is a customs designation code. And so what it is it's an agreement with customs through certain nations that, like, look, when you see this prefix, it's going to tell you the shape or variety or form, pretty much, that this is in, and then the corresponding number is going to give you a size. And so this is an agreed upon method, and they chose this method because they're like, look, we're going to produce other types of things. And so it's like a no big deal system, because all they got to do at worst case is add another prefix and then designate the corresponding size of the object. And this is the code. This is your legal pass. So when you're going through a customs, it's as simple as scan the tag and show your cert. Your certification, where it shows your registry of you.
Yeah.
And so, like, that there really isn't an argument. Like, you walk in there with your gold, I don't care what mint you have stamped on that. They're gonna be like, okay, where'd you get this kind of gold? Like, let's talk about moving $1 million in silver. I mean, to go sell to somebody, in gold and platinum, I don't care who you stamp on it. They're going to be like, dude, where'd you get this gold?
Yeah.
But so with the crystal osmium, through the Institute, having already kind of put in this back work,
this
background work, these customs codes are easy to verify. I mean, with a scan. And as far as customs is concerned, I mean, look, there's your name, there's the print. It can be verified through the Institute. They put in the back work to make sure that these customs flow, and on top of that, it's a semi-finished material. It's not exactly listed as a precious metal. It's semi-finished material. This is a material ready to be put into application. It's designed to be cut and processed and transported, kept, set, la da da.
So yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm wondering. I mean, it seems to me to be such a efficient way to move a high value cross borders without all the hangups that people are used to dealing with. But my that's just kind of what I would like to get back for information is, yeah, we've got that nailed down, and it's working well, because I mean it's a good solution to moving, it's like you say, it's the most per size, per density, it's the most valuable thing that you can.
I have a little information on that. Right now, there are several European wealth families that are transacting with the ounce pieces, lots of them at a time, doing transactions. And you're right about no regulation on it and all this stuff right now. Hey, because it's so new. National on any country level, there's been no regulation on it like there's for gold, silver, platinum, iridium, palladium, rhodium, all these others, because it's so new. And because it's so new, it's going to be sold out before any regulations get put on it, and it's going to be in a secondary jewelry market. So I wouldn't be too concerned about any regulatory stuff, because it takes a long time for a world council to get together, much less come up with a regulation. And you're looking at 2 years right there, and this is going to be secondary market in 2 years. So
Yeah.
as far as that goes right now, it is the most liquid, untraceable way to transfer funds without any issue on a plane, on a train, on a boat, in a car, cross country borders, and no one's going to say crap to you about it because they don't know about it. That's how new it is. In other words, if you have 3 crystallized osmium rounds in your wallet right behind your ID, no one will question you about having a couple $100,000 there because they don't know it. They don't know nothing about it. So how could it even be regulated in any manner? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it is the easiest non-traceable form of doing multi-million-dollar transaction across a table, across state lines, across the country, across the world. And there's just not enough of it, and the value will go up. And that's another reason why when we go back to the beginning, when you say reasons to stack or purchase this stuff, one reason is because if you have a 1 ounce round, in about 50 years, you're going to have probably $20 million round, $30 million round. You know, it's going to be outrageous, the price of that son of a gun way down the road.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's going to be like
that. It would be nutty.
It's going to be, I mean, leave that to your grandkid in 100 years. Let him open up a letter and what's this? Holy cow, I'm a billionaire. You know, it's going to
be. I mean, you're talking about, millions of dollars an ounce, you know?
Yeah.
What's the regulation on precious metals value wise? What's the value of declared
the tax value?
There's none on it yet.
No,
you know, the states regulate it. It's up to every state. There's not a federal tax.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
it's regulated by the state.
From country to country. When you're flying a plane, there's a declaration if you're moving X amount of money. Like if you take it in gold, there's a whole about this. You guys are aware of that.
No, I'm aware of it. I'm also aware if you take a private plane, you usually don't have to deal with kind of stuff.
Sure. I'm just talking, you know.
Right now, it's from private plane to private airport to private mansion and back again. I see what you're saying. The transactions right now being used by those 1 ounce rounds are not through a general populace when that came up. So therefore, regulation has never been an issue because it's never been used in that manner for a more public use case. And because there's so little of it, I don't think it'll even hit on anyone's radar to regulate it before it's out.
Well, a lot of countries stop regulating it after a certain time period of ownership. So like pretty much unless you're buying and selling it in like under a year, we're going to not worry about taxing you on this anymore.
And then you can stick a 1 ouncer behind your belt buckle and say it's a family heirloom. Did they ask you how much your jewelry is worth every time you go across country lines? No. You know, it all depends on how you're coming at it.
Is that just a tax that you're talking about? That's what the countries are doing it off? They want just you to declare that so they can put a tax on it?
I have no idea.
I don't think they tax it. My mom wore a lot of jewelry back and forth from Europe to here, and there was no tax put on her jewelry. And this stuff is seen as upper end jewelry, so I don't see where there would be a tax on it going from country to country.
Well, no. Again,
I'm going to have to look into this.
Yeah, indeed, because that's the one thing that I see as being, because otherwise I think this is a huge thing that people should know, because there's within the community, this is kind of a thing. And I mean, I don't have that problem because I don't have that much money to move, or so.
Oh, I wish I had that problem. That'd be a good problem to have, actually. But I got too much money. Can you guys come over and help me carry it?
you know, going from country to country and moving high volumes of money is kind of a thing now. And if, you know, this might solve a lot of those problems. Obviously, you know, if you're not declaring it, that's one thing. But if you're, you know, if you're declaring your stuff, then that's another, and it might be a solution there. I'm just kind of curious about that. But
Well,
Gerald and myself, I was mentioning to him one way to get around this. As soon as a bunch of us become very wealthy, we just go to different continents and buy a few islands around each continent, and then we buy solar and wind powered catamarans, and you don't have to worry about declaring anything because you're going from private island to private island all the way around the world.
it's so sweet.
So that way, wherever you go, you just go to one of our local private islands in our network of people who own private islands, and you just go straight to private islands. You don't have to check in. You don't have to do nothing.
You can check in with your osmium piece. That'll be your check-in code. You can just
you know what?
Yeah,
Why
to the
not?
private island. Exactly. That's where your 1 ounce rounds will come in. Do you have authorization to land here? Okay, yeah. Come on in.
I don't see why not.
That's a pipe dream, but you know, I've got some good
You know,
ones.
that is a really good line of questioning, I think, and important to find out. And I'll find that out. I'll figure out what transporting this is like and
I
see
don't
what
think
the
there's any issue with it at all.
I know they have done, like you said, and that code in itself, I didn't know that, was very well, is built right into the code.
Which would tell you right off the bat they would have no problem with you transporting it.
yeah, like there's
It's
that's
pre-approved,
going to of course
basically.
depend on every country. Every country is going to have its own laws and regulations, and so this is again important to like. I almost dislike the term because people just use it so liberally in place of ignorance, you know. But really, do your own research. Like, is so important. So, like, if you're planning on going there, you better have your game plan together by the time they're asking you that question, you know. So, but so hypothetically, a guy they'd have to find it. So unless they're X-raying you and knowing exactly what they're looking for, you know.
Thank you, JM.
So I'm going to show Lolo is asking in the comments there, what's the cheapest you can buy? So in this little vial right here is a little 3 millimeter piece triangle, and that's almost as small as you can get. You can get a 2 millimeter piece. I think they have went up to like $50 now, aren't they, guys, or something?
Yeah. For Sparkle 3, it's like 54, 56.
So yeah, you can get a really small piece like that is at the bottom of the market. So you can get in for a really cheap value, and then it you know works its way up quickly. And it's sold by the gram, not like silver and gold is sold by the ounce. It's sold by the gram, and it's soon to be cut in half again and be sold by the carat. I'm hearing. I don't know if you guys heard that.
Yeah, no, I heard that too. They're working it out.
Yeah, they could very well be using the carat at some point. And the carat is 0.2 of a gram.
Yeah.
So, or yeah, that's right.
And I got
0.2.
12 1.4 carat Alexandria.
Yeah, so I guess if a guy was careful to purchase his osmium based on the carat weights, he could have a possible lead in just, you know, speaking a jeweler's language, you know, even if he was uncomfortable with the jeweler's language, you know, he would at least have a communicable weight, you know, that was easy for him to see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that these are the minor considerations that could be made within your major considerations. So
This is a consideration that Gerald brought up, because we are actually Gerald and the Crystallized or the Osmium Institute and Ian are actually working on a stable coin. What, like 110% backed by physical crystallized osmium? Yeah, baby. be out hopefully soon.
Yeah, it's I think if I was to get in any type of coin, it would be a physically backed one.
Stable coin. Yep. Oh, by the way, I have mentioned several times XLM is a good deal. Algo and ADA. Here in the next little while, you're going to hear a lot more about how good XLM is.
Well, XLM was really built for that utility and like kind of meant for like a lot of in-house uses. So for example, Texas, I believe, uses some XLM based systems and like to like move and transport records securely.
There's a reason all 50 states will be doing it. There's a good reason. And that reason is because XLM is a government contract and has for about 5.5 years to be used for that reason. That's why I say invest.
But with XRP, it's obvious they're
XRP
just
has been thought by the government. XLM has been accepted by the government.
No, look, let's be obvious. This fight with XRP is nothing more than a show. They're just using it to sort out legal, to sort out legislation. You know, they're using this to frame the legislation that's gonna ultimately enforce the crypto markets.
But here's the deal: anyone can talk about anything, whatever. But when it comes down to it, digital or not, the government's going to control it like they do our money now. And XLM has a government contract. XRP does not. So there will be an XRP use case because of the crypto nature of it. But the one backed by the government, it'd be like the treasury bonds during good times. That's all I'm saying. And you want the treasury bonds during good times.
We all know that crypto's like look, in a safe world, we all know that crypto's a great way to zip around, and with your smartphone, you know, you do a quick trade and boom, you're in a native currency that you're tapping your phone on their little thing for your food, right? And so we all know that crypto has good use case right there in the ability to exchange in local currencies, like communicate, you know. And so like when you start looking at tangible backing, it just, you know, that's a great trust factor in itself.
And now is actually a good time to do what Gerald's doing too, because what BRICS is doing is showing and it's going to fail. And I only say it's going to fail because most anything you do, the first thing, it's never successful. It always fails. You always find the holes in the first thing you do. Second one usually is the one that goes through, or the third one. First one will fail. So this crypto exchange system they have, they're going to find flaws and it'll fail. But in doing so, they are pushing forward the need and use case of the crypto coins that are stable coins. And what that does for the Osmium people who are getting involved into what Gerald is producing for the crystallized for the Osmium Institute, the stable coin they're producing, is it allows you pretty much better than just during a halving event. The product you have during the halving event can make it more lucrative, and that is what this cryptocurrency that the Osmium Institute and Gerald and Ian are coming up with will represent, is the best of the best of crypto in its use case, which is in the crystallized osmium, taking care of the whole spectrum pyramid of the financial parts that you can use off of the crystallized osmium and its use cases. It's real detailed. I'm not too in depth into it, but I like that it's a stable coin, which means it's backed by something. And I suggest everyone either stay enlightened about the idea or as soon as possible get involved in the idea, because everything we spoke about here tonight about the consumption and the consuming as far as stack wise of crystallized osmium is good for all intent and purposes, whether used now, used later, and involving yourself in this crypto currency that the Osmium Institute and with Ian and Gerald are coming up with will allow you to invest a little bit, and then after a period of time, I believe it's going to be 2 years. It's all, I don't know the workings of it, but in a short period of time, you'll be able to cash out and you'll have a lot, and you'll have a lot at the time that you'd want a lot because the price is going to be through the roof at that time. So it's really a unique opportunity because of the physical asset and its timing. It's going to be a great project to be involved with if you can get in on it, or if you'd like to get in on it or like to know more about it. I'll see if I can't get Gerald to come on when he's further along with all aspects of the project. And I hope I haven't overstepped by talking about it too early. Sorry if I am. Now, someone said something totally off base that is still stuck in my mind, so I have to say something about it. Someone said something about colors that make purple, and I was thinking to myself, I did a report, and I do a lot of interesting reports. It was on the Han Dynasty about 2,500 years ago, and how some quantum mathematician was doing some studies in this person's house or their office where they had an ancient piece of artwork from the Han Dynasty. And he was using this type of light for the light spectrum to do something, and it accidentally or unintentionally or whatever shined on this ancient piece of artwork. And he noticed, because he was working on the quantum mechanics of something else in the room, which I'm not sure of, the color differentiations in the purple. So he ended up studying it, and he found out that to this date, 2,500 years later, no one has been able to create a quantum purple color except for the Han Dynasty 25 years ago. And I only say that because Neil's Han Dynasty, and I did a video with more accurate description of everything, because I'm going off memory right now, and I only did the report once, and I didn't really concentrate on it, but I found it interesting because it's Han Dynasty. But actual quantum purple was created by the Chinese 2,500 years ago, and to this day we have not created it. It's an interesting thing to think about. And don't be surprised if we have a bunch of freaking technology dumped on us within the next 6 months. New technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the part. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna probably see a lot of new technology rolling out.
Well, I had mentioned this in a couple lives. I didn't do a video on it because I didn't want to get censored. But there's a bill before Congress that got passed that gave certain companies, or actually all companies, 6 months to come clean on information that they use, that they got from taxpayer expense, to come up with technologies that they're selling to us and have profited off of without giving a percentage back to the taxpayer, since it was taxpayer funded research that they got their information from. And a whole bunch of crap is coming down the pipeline from that. And I don't know exactly how it's going to stick when it hits the wall, but I know the S is going to hit the wall on that by the second quarter of next year. So we're going to have lots of interesting things happening, and I don't know what it's going to look like.
Well, it was the same thing with the big disclosures that our own government did. You know, everything that was classified got disclosed, and they're still working on disclosing it, like, you know, because it takes physical signature and whatnot. But yeah, like tons of technologies, information, secrets. I mean, everything's out the bag now, and as people are, you know, and
it's a lot
ingesting this information and starting to do something with this information, you know. But you got to remember, there's so many miles ahead of us. Just our ability to process and gain the access to the equipment necessary to do these things, man, we're still worlds behind.
Oh yeah. Well, we're intentionally for profit of others, and that's it's a financial thing as long with the technology thing. It's a
power thing. Yeah.
Well, then that's what next. There's more to this next election than people actually know, and we won't find out the realities of what I'm saying until about the second quarter of next year, when it'll already be hopefully the proper administration that, when these things come out, can be best advantageously used and not sold out to certain people and covered up so that, you know, we're back in the hole we're in now, kind of thing. I don't know. There's a lot
And
more
we're
going
also facing, there's also like a information to application barrier that has to be, you know, overcome as well, because like there's a lot of things we're already doing. Like, you know, these guys work their entire lives on producing new applications of materials.
Well,
And so there are plenty
perfect.
of them sitting around, but we don't really have good ways to like use them yet. But they,
Oh, no,
it would be perfect for this and it would be perfect for that, but
yeah,
we just
that's
don't do that stuff yet.
That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is taxpayer funded knowledge was gained by the people that decided not to turn it over and start companies and sell us all the products that they made off of that technology, making billions and billions of profit off of technology.
No, I heard all that too. I was just
so there's a financial end coming as well. So when people are talking American debt, some of the richest countries in the world basically are the richest countries in the world because the American taxpayer information that they stole. That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to a financial thing, things aren't going to be what people think either.
Yeah, we got some interesting times ahead of us, don't we?
Write a diary, Dave. Write a diary. Said it before. And on top of all the other interesting things going on, we have the uniqueness of a once in a forever, never before brought to us opportunity by someone who did 40 years of research to make it possible in Switzerland. We have crystallized osmium at the same time as all this other stuff. So no matter how we get sidetracked with information, if you're serious about the crystallized osmium, there's a lot of lucrative opportunities to be had for every sector of the industry of what osmium, crystallized osmium can be used for. It's new, so it's open field in every direction that you want to proceed and prosper from that. Don't lose sight of it with anything that comes along to sidetrack you, because the opportunity we have now is to create such generational wealth. It's never had before in the history of humanity, of written history that we have, where people such as ourselves who are not multi-billionaires can get a product over the next 2 years, and even if we do nothing with it, just turn that product over to our grandkids to do something with. They will be some of the wealthiest people in America at that point in time, and our grandparents didn't have that opportunity for us. And that's just one of the multiple applications that this opportunity presents for us here now in this time in history. And that's why I'm excited about whatever comes along, whether it be you put it in a coin, you put it in stone, you put it in a shoe, you put whatever. Take the opportunity and run with it, make the money, and always remember to leave some for the next generation. Build your kingdom. There's a saying used to go around in America, man's house is his castle. And everyone laughed it off. But I say that saying because it is. Every man's house should be his castle. And you should have a treasury that through generations continues to gain you wealth to where you can be as a king of your own castle. It's all in your perception of history and how it can repeat itself. Just putting yourself in the role of a better repeat than what you're in now. The richer families throughout generations, the royals, do it all the time. Any piece of jewelry they have created within 100 years is out of touch financially for the average person. So that elevates them. So if you create generational wealth by making a family set of jewels with a cheap product that's never been available to us before in history, such as crystallized osmium, and just pass it down from generation to generation, you will have increased your family's wealth generationally, as long as you teach them economics side by side. It's a very easy thing to do to change the history of your family. And your grandparents didn't have this opportunity. Your parents didn't have this opportunity. And your children will not have this opportunity. So take advantage of it. Sorry for my rant.
Is there anything you want to say, LLC?
No.
I'm trying to figure out how to play this.
Let me say something then. You know, part of building your future depends on making good choices in the present. Okay. And so, like, one of the benefits to the crystal osmium is that the verifiability of it alone is kind of what won me over. And you hear me talk about that like a lot. But the point is like, I really genuinely don't have to worry about being ripped off, you know, and this is a metal that is recognized around the world, you know, and
Makes it even better.
recognized by
King's
the
Castle.
governments around the world. And
even better for having it as a treasury, because now you can verify and validate your shit and it'll never get stolen. Sorry for my language.
well, right, but that's such a really important part of dealing with the institute is that, like, look, the institute is not the institute and its partners are not the only ones in the world that can crystallize osmium. However, if you want to have a trusted source of osmium and know that it was ethically derived and produced,
Yeah.
then you're really going to need that. And if you want to guarantee a fineness and a purity level, you're really going to need that structure. Now, right, and that's really, it really is more than what, like, when you're dealing with the institute, you really are dealing with more than just the metal. You know, you're dealing with, you know, a whole family of people that are personally invested in this, you know, and
can I get you to hold on
because of these trust factors, meaning I can go anywhere in the world and I can guarantee the authenticity of this piece from anywhere in the world, in essence.
I don't have my YouTube pulled up, so I can't click on that link to bring it up. Could one of you two do that? It won't allow me to do it on StreamYard, and I don't have the YouTube page open.
If I leave StreamYard, I'll lose you again. That's what I was trying to do last time whenever
okay, I'll open it. Hold on. Go ahead and talk. I'll just open up my own channel here.
I don't know. So again, verifiability of the metal, you know, plus the purity of the metal, the price per density of the metal, you know, the beauty of the metal, you know, and it's got a bajillion other features, but it really doesn't take much for a person like me to kind of recognize, like, okay, like, I really want to secure my metal. I really want to make sure it's not a forgery, it's not a fake, that I'm not getting, you know, a bunch of pretty tungsten or something, you know, and because you can't even put a core in this stuff. You can't put a core metal because the object would be twice the size it's supposed to be, you know, but secondly, there's no metal, like, during this process of the crystallization, the kind of heat it's under, like, any metal that you try to introduce has a quote unquote core, you could never put a core over. You really couldn't core it like that because the metal would melt. I mean, you'd need tungsten and gold, and that would all melt before you could ever use it as a core, you know, so that's pretty important to me. You know, like,
oh yeah,
it's important to me that everyone gets some of this stuff so they can pass it down generationally, so that way we can create, if you can only create 8 million 2mm squares, then I want to create 8 million families, generational wealth of 2mm squares that'll be worth a couple $1 million in 2 generations. So 8 million American families will be multi-millionaires, and we will have a stable, solid country and family for a good 1,000 years. That's what I want. Here, let me play this real quick. Sorry, guys. Let me turn this down.
Is a platinum group, precious metal. It is significantly more rare than diamonds or gold. While it is toxic in its natural state, it is completely harmless in this crystalline form. The crystal structures are unique on every piece, which is the key to a very impressive security feature. It is very strong, hard, and reflective, similar to, or greater than diamonds. The price performance of osmium has been strong and steady, making it a suitable store of value. We see it becoming popular with stackers, and those who like knockout bling on their jewelry. Due to osmium's high value density, it is relatively easy to store, and easy to move or transport. It will never tone or tarnish. Think generational wealth.
Here we go. Generational wealth. Hey, there we go. Thank you to JM Unleashed. There we go. That's totally to JM Unleashed. He edited that out.
Cool.
Nice.
And actually, when we end this program, I would need JM Unleashed to come up here so I can talk to him backstage. And you guys also want to stay and listen because I'm going to try and sell him on an idea that you guys are already doing. And so am I. I'll be right back. I need to put milk in my tea. Go ahead and talk.
So LLC, about that list of yours.
Yeah.
You got some really good points on them. You could include, some of the scientific, also include some of the scientific qualities of it,
Okay.
like the fact that it's a paramagnetic to start with, and that whenever you bring that down to I think it's 0 Kelvin, it's represented as, it's pretty much really cold,
Yeah.
It becomes a superconductor as well. And it also shields from gamma radiation, and it's it's a great radiation shield just because its natural density, and reflective qualities.
Okay.
So
Quantum computing.
Yeah, its reflectivity it reflects parallel light is one of the key features.
Yep. Quantum computing, small and cold.
Yeah. And so osmium does have use out there. Most of them is in things like this, quantum computing and nuclear
That's
processes.
why everybody who buys some of this stuff, it's only going to increase in value. You're only going to have the availability to get this. And we can talk about what you were talking about, other people doing it later and whatever. But right now, this is the opportunity. After 2026, we can look to those other opportunities. But this opportunity is here and it's now. And it's only going to get better because of technology. And the use cases for this stuff hasn't even been invented yet. Like back to what Space Miner was saying, things sit on the shelf till technology comes around. Yeah, when technology comes around, this stuff is going to even be more valuable. So if you buy 2 2mm square nose rings from Neil's On Dynasty, only 4 million families will have 2 2mm squares, and they'll all be gone.
Right. Hey, Silverboy Blues, you should send me an email. If I don't email you, send me an email. I want to talk to you about something.
Or you can come up and talk backstage if you don't care about 4 people listening in.
Well, I'll just have to ask him. Yeah.
Okay, right on. Because I'm going to be ending the stream soon because JM is here and I want to speak with him and you backstage.
Hey, guys.
You have anything you want to add to the conversation, sir? And that's a beautiful, beautiful domino you have, might I add.
Yeah, I don't have it, but I have an image of it.
Damn you, man. It's only an NFT. You don't have the real thing. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I missed a good chunk of the beginning of the show, but you know, from the time that I got here is fantastic. Great discussion, awesome panel.
I appreciate it.
I learned a lot, and I enjoy that.
Excellent. I do appreciate it. And like I was saying, I'm going to be go ahead and end the stream so we can get backstage and I need to chit chat with you guys. Actually, Silverboy Blues. Again, I'm going to pitch the Osmium cryptocurrency that Gerald's coming up with. I'm telling you, get involved with it, and you'll be a happy person. That's not financial advice. That is psychological advice to keep you happy, and it might also prosper you greatly.
There's so much tangible product.
Oh, and more to come.
That simple.
More to come. There's so much more to come. Anyhow, with that, I'm going to end the stream so we can talk backstage. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by and hitting the thumbs up.
Nice seeing you guys.
Be kind, helpful, and grateful at all times. It's better than being a jerk, and it can change a person's life. A smile or a hi, opening a door, a thank you, can really change the direction of a person's life, which could be what your purpose is of that day if you allow yourself to be used in a good way. So always be kind, helpful, grateful. With that, I am going to end the live stream. Thank you very much. I will have Ian here tomorrow night, a special live stream with Ian. So check that out. And with that, good night, guys.
Have a good night, everyone.
Okay, I'm going to hit end live stream, but I don't. Okay, end live stream.